tell me now, I guess I'll never know. Here we go, turning all the wrongs into rights. Here we go, you can take me there.
Good evening, everyone. It's showtime. Thank you so much for being here. Jody Swanson, member for 3 months. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Suseanne, thank you for being here. I know I see 8 people watching. Some people could be in the background listening, watching, lurking. It's all good. Thank you so much for being here, regardless of who you are and what you're doing. I had to switch my live streams to 8 p.m. my time, which means 7 p.m. Eastern time. It might be a little bit harder for some people, but at the same time, it was at the point where it was getting hard on me, also on my girlfriend, because we don't really we can't really spend time together on Fridays. Because I go live at 9 p.m. my time, I finish around 10:30, 11. And by the time I go to bed, she's already asleep. So if we want to go and if we want to spend some time together, I figured it was better for me to start at 8 p.m. my time and be done 9:30, 10 p.m. And maybe we have time to sit down and watch one of the TV show or something like that. You know, we like watching the Marvels. The Marvel stuff. Right now we're into Loki season 2, so it gives us a chance. It's going to give us a chance to watch that. Hello, Claudie. Hello, Marie-Pierre. My daughter Claudie's babysitting tonight. My cousins, well, my brother, cousin by blood, brother by heart, I guess. He's gone for the night, and my daughter's babysitting his daughter. So she's kind of my niece. She's 3 years old, if I remember correctly. I think she just turned 3 not too long ago. Hello, Thomas. Nice to see you here. I'm guessing you're watching this from the hospital. It's nice that you have Wi-Fi. Hopefully you're doing a little bit better. And I don't remember if you told me you had the surgery or you will have the surgery. Regardless, I hope it went well. Hello, Tiffany. Thank you so much for stopping by. I was supposed to have your video, well, not your video, the video about your challenge out there and edited by Wednesday. I was really extra busy. Wednesday was the beginning of the hockey season, and I went over at some friends to watch it. I was hoping to have it done yesterday. My brother-in-law and sister-in-law came back from Alberta, so we went over there. Didn't have time to do any editing at all. Um, the program is open. I am transferring the files. For some reason, there was an update on the iPhones, and I always film with the best quality I can film with. And I used to be able to just drag and drop the video pieces in there. And for some reason, right now, it's not working the same way. So if I put all the videos at once, it's rendering the videos in a format that it can read and makes it easier for all the editing. But if I put all the videos at once, it takes um, too much energy from my computer, and it doesn't work out. So I have to put them one by one, or something else I can do is take my phone, because I film with my phone, send them to myself in Facebook Messenger, and then go on the computer and download them. That way it works somewhat okay, but I don't get the same quality. So I prefer trying to wait it out, have videos transferred one by one in my software, and maybe hopefully it will be better. So I have it ready. It's a new challenge. I challenged 3 of my friends in my little squash community, and I left some space for some of them to challenge some more. So Darren, you're off the hook for this time, but you're probably going to get challenged um, later on. But it's not a very hard challenge. It's actually pretty fun. Hello, Fisherman 506. For some reason, I thought you were from New Brunswick because of the 506. It's actually our area code here in New Brunswick. I don't know if it's related or not. And then I had supper with Scott from Rambling with the Brooms Tuesday. We were supposed to have supper on Monday. I actually went over there, and all the restaurants were closed because of Thanksgiving. I didn't think about it. I thought it was still going to be open. Plus, it would have been a nice time to have a free lunch because of my birthday. Um, but we ended up going. I met him on Monday, and we ended up going for supper on Tuesday. And he told me you drove all the way from Nova Scotia to meet him with Creekside Maples, Tony and Joni, which is pretty awesome. Really, really nice gesture you made there. Darren is here. Hope you and everyone are doing amazing tonight. Yes, I am. That's right. I now know that Fisherman 506 name is Lee. Yeah, life comes first, but still, I need to put the video out there. From what I understand, one short, one regular video, and one live stream will get you pushed out there by YouTube. So I have to get that going, and I didn't put a video this week. And if I don't, it will remove me from the algorithm for a few weeks. So I want to make sure that I get it going. Hello, Jay and Deb, or maybe Deb will be on later on. Either way, good evening to the both of you. It's probably around supper time for you guys. So if you're having a meal right now, well, have a nice meal. Like we would say in Acadian French, bon souper, bon repas. Have a good lunch. You are from New Brunswick, but you live in Nova Scotia now? Is that it? Okay. Okay. Well, okay. There's something I misunderstood then. And Scott is here. Hello, Scott. By the way, I don't know how long I'm going to be on. But one of the reasons I also changed my live stream is because Scott is going live at 9 p.m. it was the best time for him. And for me personally, going on at 8 or 9 my time, didn't really make much of a difference. It might get harder. Sometimes I go to town on Friday, spend some time with the family. I arrive home around 8:15, 8:30. Maybe some of those days I will have to go live a little bit later, but I will try 8 p.m. It should be okay. And if you stick after my live stream is done, you will be redirected to Scott's live stream from tonight. Scott from Rambling with the Brooms. He's having some guests tonight. I don't remember the name, but should be a nice conversation. Very humbling. Tiffany, hi. Saying hi to each other, and that's awesome. So yeah, Tuesday I had a nice meal with Scott at 1026, which is a local restaurant in the same building, kind of where Scott spent the week. He lives in he spent the week in a hotel, so it was easy for me to go and meet him, and it was fun. We had some good times. I hope you did. It's always fun when you get to meet someone from the community. I consider Scott a friend. We had a nice conversation on Monday, and we had a nice conversation on Tuesday, and it's always fun to hear some point of views from other people on different subjects. Good evening, Amanda. Thank you so much for being here. That's right. Alone in Alaska will be your guest tonight. So in about 40 to 45 minutes, I'll try to make sure I cut my live stream a little bit short. And hopefully it will not be too long after that if I go over my 1 hour. I'm still processing the videos. So I was the only one who didn't come see, right? Well, in his defense, he didn't come see me either. I drove where he was. But you're a little bit further. You're way down there in Sackville, which is kind of far. You're about 4 hours and a half from me, maybe. Because you're about, maybe 45 minutes to an hour from Moncton? Give or take, depending on the traffic, about 3 hours away from Moncton. If there's no traffic jam, if there's no constructions on the road, if I don't stop, it takes about 3 hours. But usually, we take a pit stop and get a snack, use the bathroom, and sound like Scott now. Well, he was a nice influence on me, I guess. So last Friday, I celebrated my birthday with some of you, which was pretty awesome. Even though I could not monetize my video, I could have probably taken a chance, but some things are not meant to play with, so I just decided not to monetize it. Still gave me the watch hours though, and I still ended up with a bunch of views, which is pretty cool. But it was a long weekend, and we were kind of hoping to get our moose meat. And I'm pretty sure most of you know by now, because everyone I can see in the chat, if you don't have me on Facebook, you probably have me on Instagram. If not, well, here it is. We got the moose on Monday. I personally thought it was going to be around 600 pounds of meat. And, give or take, I didn't want to go too high because I didn't want to be disappointed, but I thought it was going to be around 600 pounds of meat. The natural resources, the the forest rangers estimated about 517 pounds of meat. When the butcher called me, turns out that we had the biggest moose at his uh, butcher shop. Not the biggest one around, because from what I heard, I have another friend that has a butcher shop, and he told me that he had one that was around 700 pounds, which is more than ours. Um, but the biggest one he had so far was 656 pounds of meat. That's gutted, skin removed, um, and yeah, so basically just the meat. He takes a carcass, weighs it, and then he starts cutting. It it came up to 657 pounds of beautiful and delicious moose meat. So if you don't know, most of you do, I ended up with a fourth freezer. It was full. I had to bring two huge turkeys, the two biggest one I had in my freezer, which were about 20 pounds each. I had to bring them over to my mother-in-law's freezer. That being said, I only got 1/3 of the moose, so it was like 219 pounds. To that, we can add the tenderloin, which I kept before I brought it to the butcher, and I kept the heart as well. Everything's been sliced up, cleaned up. It was around another 30 pounds of meat, and it's now in the freezer. I know. Tenderloin doesn't belong in the freezer. The heart doesn't belong in the freezer. Desperate time, desperate measures, I guess. I can still eat it at some point, and it's going to be good in the stew. Uh, so about 45-ish minutes from Moncton. Okay, so that's what I had in mind. So you're about maybe 4 hours away from me. Yeah, you knew where he was. You could have come up. This sound perfect. Ooh, I'm glad I had my. Yeah, I'm moving a lot. I don't know. I have a lot of energy. I'm happy, positive. It's all good, right? That's beside the point. I could have taken some off your hands. Yeah, if I actually thought about it, I could have talked to you about it. Maybe you had a way of taking care of it. Um, but I figured you were in a hotel room. You probably didn't have a freezer. You probably didn't have a way to bring it home. Um, but what I said I would do is next year, if I can make it to the Eastern Ontario Homesteaders Conference, I will bring a roast. Hopefully, I will have some roast left, and we will cook roast for supper. Whoever goes at Darren's cabin. Maybe if I have a few more steaks left, maybe I can bring some over. Um, I don't think it's legal to actually give it away. Um, but if I'm there eating it with you, it would be legal. So I can just cook it or put it in your plate or put it in your skillet or whatever and be legal with it. But I intend to bring a few roast and have a nice meal. Yeah, it was awesome. I was I was aiming at 2,000 pounds of food this year. I am not going. I'm not going to give away my final numbers tonight. I want to keep that for after the live stream that Robert and John are probably going to do for the homesteader global gardening and homesteading community. They will give out the final numbers, but I can tell you that my goal has been reached and passed. And personally, like honestly, I look at my numbers and I still can't believe it. I have 4 freezers. One of my freezers is full of fruits and vegetables and other stuff I forage, like mushrooms, fiddleheads, wild fruits, wild berries, stuff like that. I have another one that's full of chicken and fish. I went over at a fish pond. I fished a couple of trout. I also managed to catch a few ones. Having the license and everything, I can still go and get 5 per day. Not sure how much it is in possession, but I got kids that can also fish, and I have at least 3 kids that are under the age of needing a license, and we don't have 20 trout that we caught this year, so we are still legal. One of my freezer is full of pork meat, and it has some of the meat that we got from Chris and Steph at Hickory Croft Farm, and Darren also gave us some island cows, which I am very, very thankful for. I'm wondering if we have any left. Maybe it's all gone, or maybe it's in a corner somewhere. I'll have to look it up. And the 4th freezer is full of moose meat, and it has 2 turkeys left. And the ones with the fruits, I said with vegetables, but there's a lot of vegetables. Plus, I have my pantry that holds a bunch of squash, zucchinis, and I have some blueberry jam, some applesauce, some salsa, carrots, beans, like a lot of carrots, a lot of beans that I canned, some pickled zucchinis. So unless we lose power for more than 5 days, if something happens, I have a lot of food. Times are coming harder and harder. We don't know what's going to happen next year. I have to renew my mortgage. I'm almost afraid, because if it doubles like it did to some of my friends, I have no idea how I'm going to manage to pay it off. It's one thing to live, a normal life right now. Like, I was able to go out for supper. I'm able to, if I want to spoil the kids a little bit and go to McDonald's once a month, I can still somewhat afford to do this. But if my mortgage doubles up, it's going to cost me an extra $450 a month. Times are going to get hard. Plus, the gas keeps going up, and our salary are not going up. So, it's getting harder and harder. And just to finish my story on the moose meat, the meat is delicious. I gave a steak to my brother-in-law, and he said that it was, I don't remember if he said it was the best or some of the best moose meat he's ever had, and he's a professional chef. He's a professional cook. So it says a lot. It was hanging for 2 weeks, and the meat is delicious. There is 1/3 of the moose that went to my dad, and there's 1/3 of the moose that's going over to Jack and Lindsay at Ren's Homestead. All the paperwork has been done. Everything is legal. Hello, Dave. Thank you so much for stopping by. I don't know if there's a limit here in New Brunswick. I heard somewhere that someone told me what you're saying there, but you couldn't go over 10 pounds. And I'm pretty sure I've heard also that it's illegal to give it. In order to give the meat, you need the owner of the license, the tag owner, which it would be my uncle, uh, to go to the natural resources office and ask for like a permit to transfer the meat. Now, I don't think they would actually bother you too much if you have one steak. If I give you a steak, for example, I don't think they would go through all the trouble to cost the system. I don't know how much money and just for one steak. But you want to do things legally. I would have to check to make sure how everything works out if I want to do things legally. Or, like I said, I can go and eat it with you, even if I just lick the plate after you're done. I don't know what I mean. No, but seriously, rules are a little bit different here in New Brunswick. So fall is here. It's been here for about 2 weeks now. The days are getting shorter, colder. The last 2 days, I had to wear my jacket to go to work, and I started harvesting onions last night, and I'm still not done. But besides that, all the rest has been harvested, except like I have a few, like I have mint, a few herbs. I have mint, chamomile. What else? What else do I have back there? I have a few different kind of herbs back behind my house that I have to go and harvest. But if I don't, it's not a big deal. It might just reproduce and give me more next year. My chamomile was full of worms for a while, but I think the last few cold days really helped. And last time I checked, I didn't see anything, so it's good for that as well. And who says fall is here, the gardening season is over, and there's a lot I could talk about. I want to keep it open for future live stream at some point. But I just want to say that. Sorry, I'm yawning. I just want to say that there was a lot of things that I learned this year. I learned about what to grow, how to grow them, how to care for them, and all that basic usual stuff that we all learn from trial and error. But I also learned from some friends. I also took a foraging class, which was, in my opinion, it was awesome. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it to the point where I went for a second time at the exact same class. Um, the lady showed us some different plants, and she even told me after the class was done, she's like, I was kind of afraid because you were coming back to the same class. And I'm like, okay, like, what can we show him to make sure he still, like, gets his money's worth of information? And I told him, I said, I'm a visual person and I can learn quickly. But when it comes to food and wild plants, when it's something that can potentially kill you, I'd rather be sure, rather be safe than sorry. So I wanted to go a second time to make sure that I knew what I was doing. Whenever she would point a plant, I would try to remember the plant before she started talking about it. Whenever I would see a plant, I would ask her, hey, is that the one you showed us the last time with this name and these properties? And she'd be like, yes, or she would say no. But I don't think I was wrong. Um, I don't remember being wrong on one of the plants, but I didn't ask questions on the ones I wasn't sure. um, if you don't ask questions about the wrong stuff, you won't get the wrong answers, I guess. Or I don't know. It made sense in my mind when I thought about it more than when I say it. So people in the chat, how did the season go? Did you learn anything this year? I learned what wintergreen was. I found a place that is full of wild mint, although I was able to buy a lot of different mint plants from Canadian Tire at the end of the season. And from what I could see in the last few days, it's still out there alive and kicking. It's still growing. So it survived. I also learned about wild prickly currant, which is a type of black currant, little black fruit. I was able to get one bush and bring it home, try it out, and I found one. It was just coincidence that I found it. I was heading over behind the trailer when we went moose hunting. I was just going for a walk to see if there was any action, and as I was looking on the ground to try to find the tracks, I noticed the mint, and I noticed those black currant bushes. So I figured I'm gonna come back with a shovel, and I'm gonna come and grab one, at least one. Turns out that even closer to the trailer than what I thought, there's a bunch of them. So I can go next year and buy another one if I want to. If it was in the middle of a cutting somewhere, or in a place where it would actually grow food, grow fruits, I would probably leave it there for the birds, for the animals. But it's overgrown by trees, and I know for a fact they're supposed to go and clear cut that area in a year or two. So I don't really mind going there and harvesting all the blackcurrant plants I can get, because they're just gonna die anyway in a year or two. Hello, Serge. Hey, just hey. Thank you for stopping by. So I'm guessing this is all you're gonna write tonight. Are you almost done with your lumbers at your property? So yeah, I was able to find a spot for that, a spot for wintergreens. I harvested a bunch of wild blueberries, and I also learned about mama berries. I think they're called in English. In French, we just say petit thé, which means little tea. It's pretty good for tea, I guess. I didn't try it yet. My friends did, and they say it's some of the best tea that they ever had. The wintergreens, the leaves smell like peppermint. The fruits, I don't know. I dehydrated everything and put everything in small mason jars. The mama berries, the berries themselves, strong smell like peppermint. So that's pretty cool. I learned about a new mushroom this year. Chicken of the woods. I confirm my skills with chanterelles, lobsters, shaga, and a few more. I am lazy. I have to get our wood. Snow will be here in a few days. Don't say negative things like that, so there won't be any snow. Honestly, if we get the same amount of snow as the amount of rain we got, snow blowers, snow plows won't be enough. We'll need something to dig tunnels because it was just that bad this year. And I'm pretty sure that's one of the reasons we don't see much grouse this year. I don't have a single grouse from this year in my freezer yet, which is not normal. I should be I should have more in my freezer than usual because Alexa bought her license, Anthony bought his license, I have my license. So legally we're allowed 36 in our freezer and we don't have a single one. And there's also the fact that I go with the kids. I let them hunt. I don't bring my pew pew. I let them do the walk and the checking and all that stuff. I look, of course, I look, but I'm trying to teach them the proper ways of hunting. So I'm just behind them, following them, teaching them, enjoying the time, which is also pretty cool. We only saw 2 so far this year, and even if it was me, I wouldn't have had a shot. So I can't really blame them. And there's a new rule to change in New Brunswick. It changed about maybe a month ago. Kids from 12 years old to 15 can now buy their deer tag. It used to be 16 years old and older that you needed to be accompanied by an adult, but now they changed it to 12. So Anthony, being 15, he was thinking that he could only come hunt next year, but he's actually coming this year. And the fun thing is, he really, really improved in school. He's really doing well in his classes. And the week we're going for deer hunting is the Memorial Day week. So we're off on Monday, and he's off from school on Friday. So he's only going to miss 3 days of school, which is not so bad considering that he's really doing well and he's coming with us. So he was really, really excited about that. Gave him a little Christmas present in advance. Bought him all his hunting gear, boots, pants, jackets, gloves. I'm guessing the jacket's gonna fit him for another year, maybe, maybe even the pants. If not, I have more kids coming. They're gonna want to wear the same stuff. Get snow here a month before you, and I hope we don't have as much as we got rain because we will be in trouble. Yeah, we will definitely be in trouble if that happens. But I'm going deer hunting. I'm leaving on the 12th of November, which is the day following Memorial Day. And we're going to be there for a week. We're heading over at Wren's Homestead. We won't be hunting on their property unless Jack goes hunting on the first 3 weeks and he gets one and actually sees a lot. But my understanding was that he doesn't have many deer on his property at the moment, and he wants to keep the population growing a little bit. And we don't mind. We have a place to go. He was kind enough to present us his front neighbor, and he has a land for us to go hunt on, which is pretty cool. We feel so privileged to be able to go there. And that's why we're, happy to share the moose meat with Jack and Lindsay. Yeah, it is fun. It will be a father and son kind of thing, but this year will be a little more than that. I turned 40 years old, and my son is coming, so it's going to be awesome. There's also a possibility that one of my uncle might come, which would be awesome as well. I would love it if you could come. He had already promised someone else that he was going to go, but he said he was going to try to switch the week. He goes with that guy so he could come with us as well. And the reason I say it would be nice is because he's a very experienced and very good hunter. And I'm pretty sure not only would Anthony benefit from having someone with that much knowledge, that much skills, but I would also benefit from it. He's always telling stories about what kind of land he found, where he walked during that day, what he saw, what he was expecting to see, and all that kind of stuff. So it's pretty cool, and I would love for him to come. Um, I was talking to Scott, and I'm like, Scott, how can you go for 3 hours talking about all kind of stuff, and I have to write down some points. I have to write down a few things to give me some ideas of what I can talk about, because otherwise I don't have anything to say. And there are some nights like tonight, the chat is not very, very active, which is fine. It's fine. But usually Tracy's there. Mike and NG drop by. Maryland is here usually, and to keep the chat going. And sometimes Robert will drop by. They get a conversation going, and it's easier for me. But tonight is one of those nights where I have to talk a little bit more, and that's fine. That's fine. I mean, I'm not asking you to go crazy in the chat. Um, I have 12 thumbs up, 10 watching. There's 10 people out there in the world that are taking time to sit down and listen to me. So that's pretty good. I mean, I have to be proud of that. All right. Let's see what else. And like Sal said, in a few weeks, we're going to have snow. So we have to reduce the amount of rabbits we have. There's at least 5, maybe 6 of them that needs to go in the freezer. I was waiting to get the moose meat because I wanted to see how much we were going to get. And now that we have the meat, we have to start canning, because right now it's in freezers. I work during the week, so I don't have time to can. And every night is just about, harvesting, making sure I can put stuff in the freezer, trying to do some editing. And this week it was even busier than that. It was like, first hockey game of the season, the families, reunion, and stuff like that. But now, tomorrow, the plan is to get up tomorrow morning and start canning. I want to can some moose stew. I also want to can some chicken soup if I can. And the most important thing we want to can tomorrow is spaghetti sauce. We want to take our own tomatoes. We have our own onions and our own peppers. We will take our own moose meat. We have our own basil. So we're hoping to be able to take all of that and add some extra spices, of course. I mean, I can't grow everything here. And make some spaghetti sauce. I might have to put it in the fridge, because tomorrow night, depending what time we finish, tomorrow night, I have a hockey pool where we meet up with a bunch of friends, and it's just for fun. Like we pay $25, we put that in a pot, and whoever wins takes it all. So it's just, like I said, really just for fun. But the fun part is really the whole night. Usually we go there early. We play cards. I don't remember the name of the game. I don't know what it would be in English. But anyway, it's a team game, 2 against 2. All those card games are fun. I love them. I mean, we chat, we have fun, we have a drink. So That's happening tomorrow night at 8 p.m. But if we want to play cards, it has to be before. And I have to try to find one of those expert magazines so that I have something to check on, to have an idea of what players I'm gonna take. So, I want to get up early tomorrow morning and start canning as soon as possible. And yeah, if I do that, I should give more space. It should give me more space in my freezers. Hey, Josh, Gardener Josh, thank you so much for being here. Don't you go live on Fridays as well? I think I remember seeing you live on Fridays. So yeah, if I'm gonna remove a bunch of tomatoes from the freezer. We'll hopefully be able to can some carrots as well. They're all cut. All the carrots I have are cut, frozen, cleaned. I just need to put them in a mason jar and can them. So that if I use them for a stew, for like a moose stew, I don't need to do any work with my carrots. We just need to skin some potatoes, and I think you have to cook them a little bit. The recipe is asking for onions. I'm not a big fan of onions. I'm not a big fan of celery either, but I will put some celery in there. And maybe just a tiny bit of onions, but not too much, because if I do, the kids won't eat it, and I won't eat it. Hello, Marilyn. Je parlais de toi tout à l'heure. I was talking about you earlier, saying how usually you keep the chat going. You're a very, very, very good moderator. So yeah, if I get more space in my freezers, then I can put some more rabbits in my freezers, and I want to get that done by next week, because I think that I don't know if it's next Saturday, next Friday, the final date for the Global Gardening and Homesteading Community. I have to give my final numbers. I would love to reach the next step, which would be amazing. There's also, I saw some more raspberries in my garden, but it won't give me that much. I don't have a pound of raspberries. I have a few. But if I decide to make like fruit jam of some sort, I can put some raspberries with blueberries, and I also have a bunch of apples. I could make some apple jam, apple jelly, applesauce, and things like that. And I don't want to drink too much on Saturday night, because I am getting a tattoo done on Sunday. I'll keep it secret for now, but let's just say that I will finish this arm here. Well, that's the plan anyway, depending how much time it takes. But the plan is for me to be there for the afternoon, so hopefully I will have time to finish the sleeve. Just finished washing the celery. Awesome. My celery is in the fridge. I will be using some tomorrow for my stew. Might put some in soup if I end up making soup. Just have to make sure that we have enough space in the fridge in case something happens, that we don't have time to pressure can everything, and then Sunday morning maybe, or Sunday night, or maybe at some point this week, we can actually go and finish all the canning part. So yeah, season is almost over. And yeah, as you can see, I'm tired. I'm not mentally exhausted like I was last year. That's good. Where things seemed to get out of hand last year, in my personal life, in my work life, at work, at home, I was just tired. There was a lot of stuff going on. I didn't feel too well. This year, at least as of now, it seems to be just quite the opposite. Things are going great here. Um, in my head, everything's going great. I shouldn't say that it was not going good here because it wasn't that bad here in my personal life. It was just in my head that it was not driving properly, and it is now. And at work, it's going a lot better. Um, when you get the love from your coworkers and your bosses, and even like all the big bosses from all over the province telling you that they're hoping you change your mind and stay, and then when you decide to stay, they actually write to you telling you how happy they are that you're actually staying. That feels good. That being said, I am still very, very tired. Coastal Water, thank you so much for stopping by. Nice to have you here. I was just talking about, the end of the season, what I learned, and the fact that, I'm in a little collaboration where I have to weigh all my food, and it is exhausting. It is, even if it wasn't for the competition itself, it would be very exhausting. But I think the competition makes it a little bit worse in terms of the energy that it takes, because if it wasn't for the competition, I would just go get the eggs from the chickens, and if I don't have time to harvest them, I would probably just like go and throw them out in a compost pile or something like that. But I force myself to go as much as I can. um, I go forage because I want to have the food, but also because I'm trying to bring in more weight. Um, I grow a little bit more squash and zucchinis that we would usually eat, even though we're finding ways to use it. Um, that being said, I'm really thinking about taking a year off next year. Not a year off gardening, but I won't be off YouTube either. Just that I want to be able to focus more on, um, what should I say? There's a lot of stuff going on at work, a lot of interesting stuff coming up that I want to be able to focus on. Um, I want to be able to focus on my kids a little bit more and not having to tell them that, Dad can't do anything tonight because I have to go weed the garden, or I have to go and harvest my tomatoes, or harvest my potatoes, or I have to go at the community garden and harvest my squash because we're getting too big. I don't want to have to do that. I want to spend one summer focusing a little bit more on my family, and that's why I took the decision of taking a year off global gardening and homesteading community Akash Shed Wars. Um, is there a chance I might go back the following year? I didn't close that door. Um, it's just that, with everything that happened last year, the fact that I had a burnout this year, I have a lot more food. I grew a lot more food, but I still feel like I slowed down a little bit. I didn't go. I wasn't doing something every single day. I ended up playing softball. I ended up going, over at some friends a little bit more, and I was lucky. Um, I got more moose meat. I got more, sorry, got more fish. That kind of stuff. Um, but yeah, I just want to take a break. Um, not having to weigh the stuff, because I'm a competitive person. So if I have strawberries outside, I want to weigh them before the kids can eat them, and that's not all right. So I just want to see what difference it will make if the kids could just go outside, play, have fun, and eat a strawberry if they want to, eat an apple of the apple tree if they want to, eat some raspberries right out of the raspberry bushes if they want to, you know, that kind of thing. And I have to stop myself. I'm just replying to my cousin there. I'll come back to what's going on in a second. I'll just finish my story. But yeah, you know, Marilyn, I'm very competitive, but I want to be like, I love being able to show the world that as a single person working full time, of course I have help at home. I mean, my no helped me this year more than she did in the past, you know, and it made a huge difference. You know, that's why I am a lot of uh, pounds over what I was last year. Um, but still, like, I mean, most of the stuff I plan myself. I start indoors, I plan outside. I have one of the kids coming, or maybe two kids coming, help me to plan the stuff. But they'll come for 15 minutes and then they're kids. They want to go play and have fun and do something else, which is fine. I mean, I take what I can get. When it comes time to weed the garden, last year my nun was able to help me a little bit. This year, Erminier disease is um, acting up every time she tries to help with the garden, so she can't really do it. Um, you know, on the preservation side, she helped me a lot cleaning and cutting. Every time she does, she gets sick. So, you know, I feel very fortunate that she helps, but it's kind of sad at the same time that she has to pay the price of being sick for a few days after. Um, so I want to be able to do things differently next year. Just try to see if there's anything different I can do without having to worry about the competitive side of my own mind. Um, Huga Homestead, thank you so much for stopping by. Uh, so just quickly, my cousin, I was talking to my cousin earlier. He was asking me if um, if my daughter wanted to go there and babysit. And then at some point, his daughter took the phone and FaceTimed me. So, you know, she's 3 years old. There's not much you can say, but she wanted to talk to my daughter. So I let her talk to my daughter, and then we hung up. And she's like, all right, I'm going to call. She says, instead of saying Maren, she says Mayen, which means godmother. So I'm going to call my godmother instead. She'll talk to me like I'll call godmother, you know, she'll talk to me. But it turns out that my cousin and I, like I said, we're kind of brothers from another mother, and um, we don't have the thumbs up. We have the middle finger instead, which is what we do whenever we want to give a thumbs up. We push the middle finger. And after I hung up, like 5 minutes later, maybe, I saw like a dozen of those little middle fingers popping up. Um, I knew he wasn't my cousin, so he sends me a message saying, "Hey, sorry, that was my daughter. She has my cell phone. I wonder if she knows what it is." Nah, I hope she doesn't. But looks like you might have to have a talk with her, regardless. It's funny. Um, 9 p.m. Scott is probably started on his side. Uh, there's one more thing I wanted to talk about today. Um, I ended up with a gift card on Amazon, and when I get a gift card, I usually buy some homesteading stuff, either books or things like that. Um, I wonder if I can find it quickly. Blah. Doesn't look like it. What's the name of that? There's a friend of mine that wrote children's book, and I met him at the farmer's market. I don't remember the name of the book. But anyway, I met him at the farmer's market, and we were talking, and I was talking about how things are going with YouTube, and he was like, "Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Some days my books, um, they get a boost, and you can sell like 10 in a day, and then it can be like 3 months without selling a single one." So I'm like, you know what? Like, I'm a homesteader. You're writing books about. It's a story about one is a story about a cow, and the other one is a story about a lamb. Let me just see quickly if I can. Um, I can find the name of the book, and then I can give you um, the link. Okay, so here it is. So one of the book is called Evie the Lamb Loses Her Way. The other book is Cows Are Smart Too, a bovine tale. They're books written for kids like 4 to 8 years old, maybe. So I figured, I have some money um, for an Amazon gift card. That's the first one. I will put the link. If you have kids and you want to support my friend, go ahead. If you don't want to, you don't have to. Um, just putting that out there. The second one, you can have it Kindle edition for free. Well, it shows free for me. I don't know. So anyway, long story short, I decided to buy those two books, not for my kids, but for my nieces. Um, and since I had books in my cart, in my shopping cart, I figured I was going to buy some more books. So I bought one that's about hunting and gutting the animal and all that kind of stuff. And I also bought this one, The Ultimate Guide to Home Butchering. And the reason for that is, yes, I mean, I know chicken, I know how to butcher a chicken, but it doesn't mean that I can't learn from the book. They're talking about turkeys, ducks. They're actually talking about pigs. I don't know how good it is. But it seems to be not too graphic, but graphic enough that you understand what's going on. And there's also, like, he's talking about pigs. He's talking about different parts of the pigs. Um, Hopefully you can show. Yeah, okay, so you need a saw. See, I was trying to butcher a pig. I didn't have a saw. I didn't have the equipment I needed, I guess. And it's showing exactly where to cut, how to cut, why and how, and all that kind of stuff. Poor belly. I think there's also a part where it's talking about cows, which would probably be good for moose as well. So, like, there's a graphic like this, but there's also another one in front showing like chicken, turkeys, pigs, lambs. So then, yeah, so that's the book. I also bought this book, and it was pretty cool. That being said, I was listening on to the radio, and my butcher was on the radio talking about how the butchers around are struggling because they say that not many kids want to learn that profession. And it's understandable. I mean, when you go to school, you don't dream about being a butcher. It's not you dream about being a firefighter, a policeman, a doctor. You want to be a lawyer. Nobody ever says anything about being a butcher, but they're very important in our society because there's a lot of people out there eating meat. And he was saying how he was struggling to find help. So I figured, you know what? I want to learn how to butcher my own animals. He's looking for help. I told him, I said, look, when it's moose hunting season, I go moose hunting. If I finish my hunt before the end of the week, I usually take like a day or two. Then, I come back home. Plus, I know for the following week, I'm home. I work a full-time job. Oh, sorry. So I told him I would have the weekends and I would have the evenings to offer you some help. If you want to teach me what to do, I don't mind coming and helping you. And I didn't tell him, but I wouldn't even mind if he just showed me in exchange. Like you would teach me in exchange for me helping him out after, without having to pay me for a little bit. Like I don't mind if he wants to do that. I know a butchering class is a lot more expensive than just, uh, it's not just a few dollars. So he took my name down, my phone number, and there's a chance he might call me at some point. Um, I would love it if he would call me actually, and I wish I could learn. Um, Not only is it a local business, so I would hate to see a business like that struggle, but also I would benefit from it because I would learn how to butcher my own animals after, and on the long run, it might give me a little bit more money in my pocket. So it's all good. It's a win-win situation. It looks red because of my T-shirt. My T-shirt is actually, it's kind of weird. There's too much light. It's actually like the hunting orange color. And it doesn't show up. It doesn't look like this. Um, yeah. So that's the same red wine I had last week. Last week I drank a bottle and a half. Um, this week I still have this left and this left. So I'm not at the same point I was last week. I don't want to get to the same point I was last week because I have to get up early tomorrow. Well, I'm not going to get up early. I just have a lot of stuff to do. So I want to get up. When I wake up, I'm going to get up, drink my coffee, and, start getting stuff ready. Hopefully, do some stew. I need to get some steaks out tonight so that I can cut them tomorrow. And um, I think I have to cook them a little bit first, according to the ball book. Not 100% sure. I have to go back to the south of New Brunswick. Why is that, Marilyn? Why do you say that? For a wine? Yeah, I don't have to go there. They sell it all around the province, all over the province. So I can buy it at any grocery store now. But I have to go down south, like I said, mid-November for deer hunting. I will go see Jack and Lindsay again, and hopefully they will enjoy the meat because the meat is awesome. Lucky for what? Lucky because I can buy wine in the grocery store? You don't even drink wine. What are you complaining about? Or am I lucky because I'm going over to meet Jack and Lindsay again? It's not the same South. Yeah, well, if you're talking about going Cuba or Jamaica or a place like that, even Florida, um, as much as I hate the snow, I don't like alligators, snakes, and spiders. So, I'm good right where I am. I remember this one when I did a tour of New Brunswick, stopped at a winery. Cool. Yeah, it's called Magnetic Hill. Doesn't I was hoping it would actually zoom in. It's not zooming in. Hmm. You went to that company when you were drinking a bit. I didn't think you used to drink a little bit. I mean, none of my business. I didn't ask, but now that you're talking about it, I'm gonna ask you later on when we're off the air. You still don't have to answer if you don't want to. You know what's funny? Um, Even with my seed addiction, I have a bunch of seeds here, and I mean a bunch of seeds. Those didn't come out of those envelopes yet. I still have my cases here, and I think something fell from it. Yeah, and I have 4 of them, and that's something I'm gonna have fun doing in the winter. Catch up on everyone's video, and also update my seed list. Um, oh, I didn't ask any question, not yet. I will ask you a question of the air. I'm just curious. I have to see what seeds I need this year. Yeah, I don't think I need anything. There might be carrots. Um, I'm trying to think. I have beets. I have carrots, and there's always beans, but I don't want to have as much beans next year as I did this year. My beans, they were really, really slow growing, and then suddenly they started, and it was just like boom. I harvested about 5 pounds a day for like 2 weeks, and then I just couldn't make it. It was just too much. I told some friends to go there and harvest whatever they wanted, whatever they needed. They could just go and get it. It was just too much, and I ended up losing a lot too. Like I feel bad because of the amount of food I lost. Um, but at the same time, it's not like I did it on purpose. I mean, I harvested beans every single time I went to the community garden, and still it was just too much. I still didn't have time enough to harvest everything. Dave made me discover another seed company. Really? Which one? Which one is it? I'm curious. Not telling me. That's not nice. Okay, don't tell me. Write it down for the people in the chat or whoever's watching in replay, and I will close my eyes. Go ahead. You can write it. I won't look. Okay. Take call. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna buy seeds anyway, unless I land on like a really crazy deal. But I think I have enough tomatoes for what I need. I have the pepper seeds I need, cucumbers, zucchinis. I'm pretty sure I'm good with the seeds. Like usual, there's always herbs that I'm struggling with, and I find with herbs it's even harder to accustom them to the temperature and bring them outside, and get like bring them in, bring them out, bring them in, bring them out, bring them out. For some reason, I just can't make it. It doesn't work. All right. Well, like I said earlier, Scott from Rambling with the Brooms is having a live stream with Alone in Alaska, channel called Alone in Alaska. That should be pretty interesting. And I told him I was going to send you guys over once I was done. And I feel like I should end my live stream now. So we'll say good evening, good night, good weekend, good fall, good rest, good everything you need to be good. And I will see you guys. Okay. You will be redirected to Scott from Rambling with the Brooms in the 2 seconds.